Hi, I am Millie Odhiambo Mabona, Member of Parliament, Suba North, previously called Mbita constituency.
Millicent Grace Akoth Odhiambo Mabona.
Let me remove my mask, Mr. Speaker, because I want them to see that not only am I a performer, but I'm also beautiful, Mr. Speaker, and elegant. And I want to tell Agatha Ambito.
Born on November 1st, 1966, in the vibrant Homa Bay region of Kenya.
Born and raised in Homa Bay town, a small, dusty, but very powerful town. I say very powerful town because it is the same town that has produced giants in this country. It has produced the late General Ogola. It produced the current CS for education. It produced the retired Justice Bosire and myself, amongst others.
Millie Grace Akoth Odhiambo Mabona grew up in a family of 8 children, the fourth-born daughter of Harrison Odhiambo and Damaris Ouma Odhiambo.
I was born to a father who was a politician, an elected politician. He was a member of the regional assembly, which is a kind of a mix between Senate and the MCS now.
Okay.
Slightly bigger than MCA, but smaller than the Senate.
Millicent Odhiambo's early life was marked by both love and loss. Her father's untimely death in a tragic boating accident in 1973, when she was just 7 years old, left indelible mark on her.
And then he was vying for member of parliament in the same seat when he died 2 days after my birthday.
Okay.
And so I'm a chip of his old block from the political angle, but I'm also a chip of my mother's block. My mother was a social worker, trained nurse, but practiced as a social worker instead. And through her work, she did a lot of support for communities, helping poor people. Those days there was no feeder, there was no cradle, there were no organizations working around children and women's issues. So I saw my mother almost like an institution.
As Millie reflects on her childhood, it becomes clear that her father's death not only reshaped her family's social network, but also sparked an inner fire.
So I became an amalgam of my mother and my father. That on the one hand I'm a politician, and the other hand I'm a social justice adherent, focused about protecting and furthering the rights of women, children, young persons and persons with disabilities. So what my mother did all her life.
It was this event that planted the seeds of her political career.
Watafute, waende, let them go to heaven, earth, sea, water. I don't care. But I am not a person that is moved. That they should have known kitambo, not now. They think I was nominated. Why? Because I'm a flower girl.
Despite her youth, Millie vividly remembers her father's love for music and family outings, including drives where they were treated with VIP privileges.
So dancing is a big part of my life. In fact, I remember when I was young, my grandmother just she had a nickname for me, and she'd call me Omiele, Omiele. Omiele is the one who dances, the one who dances. So I've always danced my entire life. Yeah.
Millie was more like her mother in her early years, shy, religious, and seemingly distant from the political world.
After a while, because I was also raised up in a very strong Christian family, there was a general feeling that politics is not for good Christian girls. And so I withdrew and I said I'm not going to be in politics. So I became an amalgam of my mother and my father. That on the one hand I'm a politician, and the other hand I'm a social justice adherent, focused about protecting and furthering the rights of women, children, young persons and persons with disabilities. So what my mother did all her life.
As she grew older, her father's influence began to reveal itself in her determination to seek justice and fairness to others.
We have a Married Women Properties Act that was enacted when I'm in Parliament. And so we have changed the framework of laws that are more progressive. We have outlawed FGM, we have a new Marriage Act, we have a new law, as I've told you, on property, we have new land laws, we have very progressive laws on economic frameworks relating to women that we didn't hitherto have. So for me, if I look back, I can say yes, on the legislative front, we are doing very well.
Millie's path to becoming a prominent lawyer and later a parliamentarian was paved with academic and professional achievements.
So I would want to encourage Honorable Ichung'wah, the next time you want to inform me at my intellectual capabilities. Don't inform me over mundane things like that, because those are things that I just raise in passing. But I talk about issues of substance.
Her education journey started at Homa Bay Primary School before she moved on to St. Francis Girls Secondary School and Lemuru Girls High School.
I did not ask to be informed. I'm sorry. You cannot inform me. You asked that you are on a point of order. You are not on a point of information. You cannot inform me without my permission. I'm sorry.
Order, leader.
You cannot inform me without my permission.
Honorable Millie, order.
Mr. Speaker, I've said it before this House before. I'm very fairly informed. I don't need Honorable Ichung'wah to inform me.
In 1986, she joined the University of Nairobi, where she pursued Bachelor's of Law degree. Graduating in 1990, her quest for knowledge would take her across the globe, from New York University for a Master of Laws in Public Service Law to Italy and Sweden, where she studied legal prevention and judicial control of corruption and human rights and humanitarian law, respectively.
I am a lawyer with a master's from New York University. There is nothing you can inform me. I'm fairly intelligent and knowledgeable on issues of governance and corruption. And then I'm a ranking member, so I have a history of this parliament. I can teach you and educate you about things that have gone on and things that are continuing to go on.
These global experiences broadened her understanding of justice and human rights, shaping her legal career and advocacy for the rights of women and children.
I want to warn the men who are targeting national leaders with sex shaming, like the one we have seen of late. If we cannot protect women at the local level, and we are trying to, and us as women leaders, we are being targeted. And we want to be quiet because of 1, 2, 3 reasons. And please excuse me as women, because I know we had agreed that we will not talk about this. But blanket or no blanket, I will talk because I'm very offended. We cannot be treating women like trash. We cannot be treating women like rubbish. We cannot be treating women like they are the ones who came up with sex, like they are the ones who invented sex. And I want to tell women who are shaming and victimizing another woman who is already a victim, and you are trying to victimize and taking a moral high ground. Shame on you. Shame on you. I have seen one of my friends going and saying, because you have children, don't do this. Who told you that a woman posted photos of herself? You come here, post photos. Who hasn't had sex? Even I have had sex. Otherwise, why is my name Mrs. Mabona? But you cannot use, even today I've had. What is the big deal if I've had? And if you think there's a problem, report to the nearest police or report me to God. But what I want to say is, in this country, this must stop. This nonsense must stop. And the DCI must follow those, I don't even know what name to call them. I don't want to be abusive. But the DCI must follow those guys. Every time, there are so many women who have been followed. And every time you are being told, just keep quiet, otherwise you will not get a blanket. Blanket or not blanket, amen. I am going to say it. You are not going to harass women. I don't care whether you are in UDA. I don't care whether you are in ODM. When it is an issue of women, my party becomes a woman. When it's an issue of women, my party becomes a woman. Because what is done to another woman will be done to me.
Millie began her career in the Attorney General Office, practicing civil litigation, But it wasn't long before she shifted her focus to human rights law, where her true passion lay. In 1999, she became the chairperson of the Coalition on Violence Against Women in Kenya. Her dedication to defend the rights of children led her to found the Crowdo Children Foundation in 2000, an organization that sought to protect the rights of children within Kenya's legal system. Millie's journey into politics was born out of a necessity and personal tragedy. As she delved deeper into her human rights work, it became clear that in order to effect systemic change, she needed a platform within a government. The turning point in her political career came when she served as a delegate at the Bomas, Kenya. Contributing to Kenya's constitutional drafting process, it was this experience that propelled her political inspiration and brought her to the forefront of national politics. In 2007, she was nominated as a member of parliament by the Orange Democratic Movement, ODM.
I, Millie Grace Akoth Odhiambo.
In 2013, she successfully clinched the Suba North constituency seat in the national elections.
Having been elected a member of the National Assembly, do affirm in the name of the Almighty God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the people and Republic of Kenya, and I will obey, respect, uphold, preserve, protect, and defend this Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, and that I will faithfully and conscientiously discharge the duties of a member of Parliament.
I became the first woman in Suba to be elected after nomination. I became the first what we call Migogo in the whole of Luo Nyanza to be elected after nomination.
Millie's outspoken nature and an unwavering commitment to justice earned her a reputation as a fierce and advocate.
Mr. Speaker, if they are good girls, they'll never get corner office. Be as bad as Millie Odhiambo, you will be the mother of this house. I am a bad girl, and as a bad girl, I'm here serving my 4th term. So do not be cheated like the African culture where you are told have decorum, dress nicely, be kind, be nice. I'm telling you, you will go nowhere. Be a bad girl like me and you'll get somewhere.
Especially for women and children's rights.
We cannot be treating women like trash. We cannot be treating women like rubbish. We cannot be treating women like they are the ones who came up with sex, like they are the ones who invented sex. And I want to tell women who are shaming and victimizing another woman who is already a victim and you are trying to victimize and taking a moral high ground. Shame on you. Shame on you. I have seen one of my friends going and saying, because you have children, don't do this. Who told you that a woman posted photos of herself? You come here, post photos. Who hasn't had sex? Even I have had sex. Otherwise, why is my name Mrs. Mabona?
She faced many challenges as a woman in a male-dominated political landscape.
A good friend, Honorable Ichung'wah, called Honorable Raila an urban terrorist. Mr. Speaker, if it weren't for your order, I could also have called Honorable Ruto national terrorist. But because of your order, I'm not calling him a national terrorist, Mr. Speaker. And finally, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that my good friend Honorable Ichung'wah must tell us whether he's also of the LGBTQ community because of his preoccupation with Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. That guy is a man, bwana. Don't be too preoccupied with Honorable Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. I'm a woman, bwana. Hey, ni kitu gani wewe?
Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Honorable Millie Odhiambo.
But her resilience set her apart. Her battles in parliament, including her opposition to the security laws bill in 2016, solidified her position as a champion of civil rights, no matter the cost.
And I want to tell the president, who I served with in the same committee in parliament, who was my classmate in the university, fire those guys that you have hired who are giving you economic advice. They are not helping you at all. How do you even imagine bringing something like taxing bread, even if it is as a joke? That is a joke carried too far. That is a joke carried too far. You can crack jokes elsewhere. You can find a situation where the young people have burnt the country based on your joke. try those jokes elsewhere. Because Kenyans are suffering. Kenyans are tired of being taxed. And if we cannot listen to the Kenyans who are tired of being taxed, we have no business being in this house. We must listen to the Kenyans.
Beyond her professional and political life, Millie has faced personal struggles with grace and strength. In 2006, she married Magugu Mabola, a Zimbabwean, and became a stepmother to his daughter, Lebo, who lives in Botswana. Though her marriage is a long distance, Millie remains deeply connected to her family and stepdaughter. One of the most publicized personal challenges Millie has faced is her struggle with the uterine fibroids, which caused painful menstrual cycles and affected her ability to conceive.
Because I do not have a child myself naturally, and should I choose, I've given myself up to the deadline of December to decide whether or not I want to go through assisted reproduction. If December comes and I've not decided, I'll let it pass Jeff. Fortunately for me, God made me in a very wonderful way. I feel complete with or without a child. I've raised many, many children and have never at one point ever considered myself any less because I don't have a child. But because I have seen the tears of women, I've never, Jeff, in my life cried that I don't have a child,
Right.
But I was shocked that actually women cry that they don't have children.
They do.
Yes,
They do, yes.
I was shocked. I have met women, one of them, I'm glad, managed to come into parliament, who struggled over years and has got a child through assisted reproduction. She introduced me to a group a network of women who don't have children, some who have been divorced, some who have gone, even women in the media who have, got in touch with me, who have been divorced because they don't have children.
Right.
So for the sake of those women, I have brought, and I don't want to say for myself because I may not be considering, I have brought assisted reproduction technologies bill that would help those women. So yes,
yeah.
and it has surrogacy in it.
Is that
and
right?
I've also brought a reproductive health care bill that also talks about some of those issues.
Yeah.
I know that whenever we talk about reproductive health care, people always think of abortion. It's
Correct.
not about abortion.
Yeah.
Jeff, if I told you my story about reproductive health care, you would be astounded. So some of it is also very personal to me, that when I was younger and I'd have my menses, I was always admitted in hospital every single month.
Because of what? Blood loss or migraines or?
I would have severe cramps.
Yeah.
I would have blood loss. So it was always a very serious, terrible journey for me. So I know. I went into a meeting once and I walk in, and fortunately I was the first one in the meeting. Before I know it, I was in a pool of blood.
Oh.
But fortunately, there was a guy in the room who was chairing this meeting, and I didn't know how to deal, so I said, excuse me, can you please, because we're meeting in his office, I said, can you please leave your office? Then he looked at me and he said, it's okay, I'm a gynecologist.
Oh.
By coincidence.
Tell me something.
Despite societal pressure and being ridiculed for her childlessness, she has remained vocal and open about her experience.
I've never felt a special need to have my own. I am able to love one kid, any kid. I am able to love without feeling like I'm missing something. I only felt at some point after I lost my mom, I felt such level of emptiness I've never felt in my life.
Right.
And I went to see the doctor, and then he told me perhaps then maybe you need to think about having a kid. Yeah, but then after a while, I'm not saying I still grieve for my mom. She was such a wonderful person, but that feeling went. I don't feel that I must have my own kid in order to
feel complete.
Millie's courage to discuss these deeply personal issues has helped to break societal taboos surrounding reproductive health in Kenya.
I went to hospital upon hospital. In Kenya, I went to Aga Khan, I went to different hospitals, and all I was told is there's a mass. They couldn't tell me what it was. And when I went to school in New York, then I was told, you have fibroids. Now, I don't know whether maybe technology at that point wasn't good enough.
Yes,
and
yes.
guess what, Jeff? Every time I went to hospital, I was told I've aborted. Every month, I was told I'm aborted.
Good Lord.
Yes, I was told I've aborted. And I was in hospital every month.
Oh.
Because a woman, every time you present yourself to hospital, and then one time when I was actually in, I already started working, and because I used to have this problem, so I went to hospital and I was given documentation because I missed the office. So I had to take it back to the office.
Yeah.
And I was walking around with this documentation from office to office. Why? Because I've had this problem all my life. What did the doctor write? That I have a sexually transmitted infection, and I was not even sexually active.
No.
So I'm showing people around that I have a sexually transmitted infection. So somebody called me and said, excuse me, do you know what this means? I said, no. What is it? Said, it shows that you are found with a sexually transmitted infection.
How old were you?
Early 20s.
Good Lord.
I went back to the hospital, and I told the doctor, why did you find me with this? And he said, did you present with this? I said, no, I didn't. He said, most women do. I'm not most women have come as me.
Yeah.
So the challenge is that for reproduction as women, when you present yourself, it's always presumed that you have a sexually transmitted infection or that you have aborted. It's not about that. Reproductive health care is not about abortions or that you have done what. It's a whole spectrum. From when you, and I thank God, I always tell people that the things that people think are negative about me, I thank God for. Because God enabled me to go through them so that I can be the voice of those who go through. Because I'm strong.
Yeah.
I went through those reproductive challenges. I can talk boldly about them. I don't have a child. I can talk boldly about them. I am married outside. I can talk boldly about them. I'm a migogo. I can talk boldly about them.
You're
so
geza.
I can talk boldly about it. So I thank God that I went through all what people consume as negative.
The negatives into positives.
Yes.
There you go.
Because I am privileged to be in this place at such a time as this for a purpose.
The purpose.
Millie Odhiambo's life work is rooted in advocacy for vulnerable, especially women and children. Her creation for the Cradle Children Foundation stands as a testimony, belief in the power of the legal reform to protect the youngest members of society. She has also been a vocal advocate for gender equality, pushing for legislative changes that improve the lives of women across the country. Despite facing political opposition, propaganda, and even physical violence during her campaigns, Millie has remained resilient.
Aweke ni mahali ya kutichosianda. Akiweka naweka.
Mweke kidogo.
Nyaka watisianda waneruto. Aya watu wa Kibra Watu wa Kibra. Watu wa Kibra Watu wa Kibra.
Her story is one of the perseverance in the face of adversity, and her legacy will one of fighting for justice, equality, human rights. Looking forward, Millie continues to push for policies that will secure the rights of women and children in Kenya, while also advocating for more female representation in government. Her personal and professional life is intertwined with her vision for a fair and just society, where every Kenyan, regardless of gender or age, has the opportunity to thrive. As the document closes, we reflect on Millie Grace Akoth Odhiambo Mabona, enduring her legacy. Her journey from a young girl in Homa Bay to a powerful force in Kenyan politics is nothing short of inspiring. Despite the challenges, personal, professional, and societal, Millie's strength, intelligence, and fierce determination have made her a trailblazer for women in politics and a champion for the rights of the most vulnerable in the society. Millie Odhiambo's story is one of the empowerment, resilience, and hope, demonstrating that with passion and a steadfast belief in justice, one person truly can change the world. And as she continues her work in the parliament and beyond, Millie remains a beacon of inspiration, not just for the people of Suba North, but for all Kenyans.